So a few years ago I came across this concept held by the indigenous peoples in North America, and it was teaching how over 7 generations patterns and emotional trauma is passed down. So in our generation we have to clear out the disruptions from 2 generations before us, and that has an impact. What we clear out of ourselves and change within ourselves will have an impact for 2 generations after us. And I think it's really fascinating that this is a tradition, a traditional concept of those communities, and then we look at sort of modern science and epigenetics and the narrative of behavior and trauma, and we can also see that the evidence is there over 2 generations. We're carrying the disruptions and the patterns of our parents and our grandparents, and so this for me really kind of contextualizes the importance of inner work. Not that it's just something related to people's trauma or it's a psychological thing, that actually it's a social responsibility that we can all embrace, especially if we're raising kids or we're guiding young people in some way. It's so important that we've looked within ourselves to see what disruptions we're carrying, so that we don't unconsciously pass them on to the people that we're guiding. But then even in a wider context, we're all having an impact on the way that culture is kind of forming, and that's a reflection of what's happening inside of ourselves. You know, whatever we collectively move towards, or whatever we collectively upsell or like, or kind of bring our attention to, that's what we're going to see more of. So if we've all got these unconscious patterns, and I think one of the big unconscious patterns of our time is this shadow of sadness. I'll talk about that more in a different video, but as an escape, as we collectively escape from our sadness, we look for instant gratification, and we develop solutions for instant gratification, and therefore that's just led to a lot of addictive behaviors, because we're not actually teaching each generation what to do with and how to navigate the pain of sadness. So we're all, well, not all, many people are just unconsciously avoiding the pain of sadness, and how that came to be inside of their body, and how they're now engaging in behaviors that are avoidant of just processing that emotion. So that for me is the big context on why inner work is so important. In terms of like individual sort of experiences, inner work does help us to see our patterns, and so to really look at our behaviors and how our behaviors create our lifestyle, create our relationships. And if you are someone who's feeling out of alignment or experiencing some sort of disruptions or issues within your lifestyle, then the bringing awareness to yourself and the responsibility to yourself is to recognize that you have a choice, and that you are the one who can take responsibility to make those changes, and those changes are going to come from within. And so when you get to that point in your life and you realize that, yes, I want to make a choice, new choices, and I want to make some changes, then that's where inner work comes in. Because we can just do it from the mind. We can just say, okay, I'm now going to change job, and I'm going to find a new relationship, and I'm going to move to a new city. But if we don't do the inner work, when we make that change, we just take the same patterns with us. And I've been in situations as an adult where I've moved to a new place and I realized that I've literally created the same patterns that were my childhood experience, just with different people, but it's pretty much the same. It's me still having an experience of isolation and marginalization, because that's what I grew up experiencing. And so until I was able to do my inner work and see that that was a pattern that I'd created, I wasn't able to acknowledge that, see how I created that pattern, and then make sure that in my next choice, my next set of choices, I wasn't going to enable the same pattern to play out again. So for anybody who's kind of stuck in patterns or in a reality that feels like it's in some way avoidant of a deeper shadow, then inner work is the pathway to get out of a reality that you're feeling unsatisfied with.